Dave and I moved to Atlanta about 1994, 95. You know, we had a lot of empty rooms, and we decided to have children. So the house got small quickly and loud.
Have fun. Ouch. One more time. Ouch, sit down before you fall down. Woo! Told you. It is.
Oh, it's too early in the morning. Before you came along, boy, we used to have so much more fun. No. Life was hectic in the beginning because you were 15 months apart, so it was like having twins. And so it was double the bottles and double the sippy cups and strollers and all that kind of thing. But it was still fun looking back on it.
Hey everybody, today is March 11. Stephen is 9.5 months old and he's trying to walk.
When Stephen was young, he was rambunctious. He liked to scream crazy for funny, just to get attention, his personality was big. He'd always make funny faces when we took pictures. He would never smile. He was, I'm not say hyper, he was just energetic. He was funny. He was funny when he was younger. He's funny now. He's more mature. Couldn't sit still. Had to do something. What's next, Mom? What's next? So he kept us hopping and young. Kept us young.
I feel like when I was a kid, I don't know. I mean, I guess just growing up is part of it, but I still feel like I'm a little kid. I mean, you can tell a little bit, but I feel like I just have to be. That's who I am. So, I mean, I've changed a little bit maturity-wise, but I'm still the same person. I just don't show it as much.
Stephen and I, we never really got along when we were kids. We did not hang out that much because we would always fight over stupid stuff, like who would hold the remote while we were watching TV or what we would watch, you know, those regular sibling fights. And we're just two very, very different people. But now that we're both adults and we respond to each other rather than reacting to each other so quickly, you know, we've been able to kind of slowly build a sibling friendship there, and it's nice. I think it's really nice.
Oh, Nina, he loves you.
Nina was, I think, always curious and went with the flow, but also creative type on her own as well. And yeah, I think you could always kind of talk to Nina and not feel any judgment, or I think, you know, easy to be one-on-one with Nina. Not conceited and not full of herself or anything like that. That, I think, very down to earth.
Nina has always been beating to her own drum and not being affected by what other people thought or might have thought, or she was doing her thing and being who she is.
I think I've changed a little bit over the years. I'm definitely not the same person, but I am. I, never liked to be part of the crowd. I never liked all the same things that everyone else liked. And I knew that right off the bat, and I still know that now. But I don't think I'm as afraid to speak my mind anymore, and I'm not as afraid to branch out. So I think that's been very nice for me. I don't have to worry about everybody else.
What's the matter? Tell me.
I told you that the fridge was the most important part of a girl's bicycle.
Nina and I's mom was very outgoing, very fearless with people-wise. So, like, if we were at Six Flags or something, she would be like, go up there and talk to that person about getting that prize. Go get what you want. Like, I'm not gonna do it for you your whole life. So she was the voice of reason, but also the person who told you, like, just do it. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, what's the big deal?
Mom has definitely come out of her shell, I think, a lot more since Stephen and I were kids. I remember as we were growing up, every once in a while she would kind of just come to the realization of, like, it's okay to be funky, and it's okay to, like, not do everything else everybody else is doing. Like, it's okay to do your own thing and not have to worry. I mean, if you're not hurting anybody and you're having fun and you're having a good time, do it. And so she's grown in that way. It's nice to have her kind of revalidate that for us. You know, if we're overthinking too much, she kind of will remind us and say, like, hey, you can do what you want, but do your own thing. Like, don't just do it because you think you have to or that you should. You know, do it because you want to, or that because it's the right decision for you.
I haven't necessarily become a different person, just a different kind of version of myself. Moving here, raising the kids, life was so fast and such a, a pace that I just, I kept up, happy, crazy, overwhelmed. But as I got older, I think I could handle it better. It may not have shown on the outside, but it was showing on the inside.
Yeah, no, Dad's always been quiet. He's always a quiet person. And when Stephen and I were kids, he didn't know how to talk to us yet, and we didn't have, enough stuff to say, really. We were kids. So now that we're older and that we have bigger ideas, we have more experience in life and things that we think about, it's easier to talk to him about politics or cars or art or anything. And it's been really nice to meet our dad as a person rather than just know him as our dad. He's been, showing himself more and more as, like, a person the last few years. So
I remember that he was strict but also fun, and he was more childish when we were kids because we were kids. I mean, you can't be a serious parent with little kids. They're not going to take you seriously. So he's changed a lot. I mean, he's a lot more stern, but he's also grown up.
Well, I think I was a little more of a, I don't know about free spirit, but I would say I was a little more, I think, adventurous, creative. I think family life and responsibilities and bills and all that just became maybe a little too important, and so then I became dad, and I'm the one that says no. I feel like I'm the one that says no all the time, but I think there were some yeses in there too.
Dave and I have changed in the sense of when we had the kids, we kind of grew apart. We were doing the whole parent thing, and then as the children got older, we didn't know who each other was, and we would have a lot of tension. There was a lot of fighting. But that has also shifted back into, oh yeah, I know why I like you. I know why we're together. It's slow, but I can start to feel it. And we've both changed a lot and grown separately and together.
I feel like our family is all over the place. I mean, we can work really well together in certain areas, but then other areas we have to work by ourselves. Like, we can't work with each other because, I mean, the way Dad is I know how to do this. I've done this before, and this is the right way. But at the same time, Mom's like that too. And when those two projects cross paths, they're both like, I know how to do this. Don't tell me how to do it. So, but we can work well together in a lot of areas at the same time, like cleaning the house, doing stuff like that. But
As for all of us, though, I definitely think we have learned to get along with each other finally, and I think it really comes down to just all four of us. You know, I'm 21, Stephen is almost 20, so it's really just come down to, after all these years, we finally just accepted that, you know, we are who we are, and that's not going to change whether we yell at each other or whether we fight or get frustrated. Like, we have to just kind of accept all of us for who we are, and there's a lot less fighting in the house, a lot less petty fights too, a lot less, you know, just silly stuff like that, and there's a lot more communication and apologies and like, oh, I understand, and let me explain to you why I did that, here's what I thought. So that's the good growth in all of us. We've all become more adult together, especially within the last few years, since Stephen and I have both been in college. It's been nice to kind of, I guess, grow up that way recently.
Camera, she said.